So when we talk about marketing on your personality, it brings, it sort of it brings to the question of the influencer. And what are your thoughts on influencer culture, and how much power do you think they truly have?
It's a very difficult question because I think today everyone is an influencer. It's not just somebody who has 1 million views. It's somebody who posts any opinion online is in some sort an influencer, right? They have the power to influence an action that you make or a thought that strikes your mind. It is a tricky place because I think today, when I started making content 8 years back, there were no guidelines for influencers. You could sell anything you want with no sort of verification or anything. But today, each platform has a bunch of guidelines that you have to follow. First of all, we didn't even have the necessity of publicizing that it is an ad in the first place. People could post any kind of content with any plugin, not mentioning that it was an ad. But today we have guidelines saying you have to mention this, you can't work with so-and-so brands, and the audience is not forgiving, which is the best part of it. Like ma'am said, sometimes it's very frustrating with an audience because you can't understand them, but sometimes they stand for, whatever's good, and that helps you kind of figure out boundaries for you to work within as well. With influencing, it's a great high if you ask me, because there's a lot of money to be made. People want you to endorse their product and all of that, but it's very important to have a bunch of morals that you stick to, because without that it's very easy for you to get lost in this whole place. Not just with influencing, with content creation as well. It's a glass house, like ma'am said. I keep telling people that there are people to lift you up, but the same people will decide how far you have to go. So they also, not only do they push you up, they also decide your ceiling. So the second you cross that ceiling, they will wait to pull you down. So whether it's influencing or content creation or everything, it's best to set like a very strong moral compass that you stick to, because the second you start diverting from it, you will see like the downfall happen by itself. Was that the question? I have a very strong tendency to digress into something else.
It was basically about what influencer culture actually entails, and how content creation has created this role of the influencer in society as well. So
see, I think the thing is, people look at influencing as a derogatory term, but influencers have been around for longer than all of us. Anyone on radio, anyone on television, print, everyone have been influencers. It's just that today, because you see somebody your age who you have seen maybe for the last 2 years selling something, you feel like, oh, influencer. But otherwise, it's something that's been there forever. It's just that today the power lies with everybody, and it's a tough pill to swallow for some people. So that's how I feel. That's why I feel like it has a very negative connotation to it. But like I said, at the same time, that the moral compass is really, really important, because without that, it's very easy to go wrong in many ways.
I completely agree with Kishen. Two aspects to this. One is that, as he pointed out, anybody can be a social media influencer. Anybody with a camera, smart camera, who can take a good selfie or a video. In fact, if you must know, in the UK there is an entire semester course on how to take the best selfie. Right? So that's the extent to which this trend has crept into academics, right? That there's a serious course on how you take this perfect selfie because you want to be the best social media influencer out there. But the flip side, as he again pointed out, as someone who's been in this for a while, you have to be really conscious. And so again, media education comes in with a role here, because we teach media ethics, we teach media law, we teach censorship, we teach what could go wrong with the content you create and how you could probably be even prosecuted. We are seeing several big names facing all kinds of criminal proceedings against them, right? So how to avoid those pitfalls is something you will learn when you come into a course, when you come into an academic setup and try to learn these skills. At the same time, we cannot again teach you any of this. We can only expose you and facilitate your understanding, and then leave it to you to navigate that space.
And I just want to add one thing to what I said. If influencing is your ultimate goal, I don't think. Let me rephrase it. I believe that content creation should always be your goal. Influencing is a part of it. If you look at influencing as the main thing, one, you will not survive. Secondly, I don't think this is the place for people like that. You might boom, you might be there for a year or two, but it's very difficult for you to sustain. Your focus should always be on making content, and in that process, if you have integration or brands who want to work with you, ethically, morally, find a way to work with them. But if that is your end goal, to sell something in every video, the audience is a lot smarter than that, and it won't float for too long.
Again, two aspects. One is that a lot of corporates have shrunk their advertising budgets, saying, oh, we can go with social media influencers. It's a cheaper way to product placement and, brand awareness and so on. But then there can be other issues that crop up because of that. The second is that, let's say at the School of Media at SaiU, we will definitely talk about empathy and ethics as the hallmarks of media and communication skill sets, which means you need to have that moral compass. You'll be made aware that that is the only way to go. Focus on what you want to say, not on what you can make with it.